Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass. Because, guys, 34 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 34 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smart ass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey. And that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. There are a lot of people out there struggling, even with health issues. I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out. If you think my book can help someone, because I sure do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to my website, www.geripetito.com. My book is now on audio, guys, with my voice. Simon & Schuster wanted to do it with someone else's voice. I was like, no way. My producer, part owner of Hamilton Radio, owner of Iron Horse Films, Ruben Rodriguez, is now doing audiobooks with your voice, authors. Okay, so if interested, please, please reach out to me. And guys, listen, if you truly, truly, truly can't afford my book, please reach out to me about that as well. I'm here to help you. So before I introduce my guest, I just want to give a shout out to one of my sponsors today. So John Bishop, a.k.a. Johnny B., singer-songwriter, host of the Entertainment Luncheon South, a nonprofit network created for the creative. He's also partners in the Joey D and Johnny B Rockin' Oldies band, and he's also singing solo. But I have to give a shout-out to him and his wife, Linny, because they put this luncheon together once a month. It's by invite only. It's $20. Great lunch, incredible entertainment. All different entertainers come out, and they don't keep a penny of it. And they promote all of us like nobody else does. So a huge, huge shout out. You know how we all feel about you guys. We love you. So thank you. Now, guys, I want to do something for my incredible guest. First of all, I want to introduce her, but then I want to read a poem that I wrote. So everybody, listen, give this young woman a big round of applause. DeeDee Austin, say hello to everyone.
Hey everyone, my name is DeeDee Austin. I'm
Wait.
a 19-year-old.
Hi, say it again, babe. You were muted for a second.
Hey everyone, my name is DeeDee Austin. I'm a 19-year-old multi-award-winning Indigenous singer-songwriter from the Abbotsford First Nation and PEI, and I'm also Howie Mandel's Golden Buzzer for
Yes.
Season 4 of Canada's Got Talent.
That's right. So I am so excited because, guys, I don't usually reach out to too many people to interview because all these promoters send me incredible. I've been so blessed. I couldn't sleep one night and heard her, and I messaged her, and I was praying, Lord, please, if it's in your will, let her respond to me, and she did. And there's a big reason why. First of all, she's absolutely beautiful inside and out. We're going to also play her song that she sang that got her that golden buzzer that meant so much to me personally. I wrote a poem that I want to read. Now, I want to just give a shout out to the people that brought my attention to what all the awareness of the Indigenous people. So the first one is Lizard Man. His name is David McVonnell. Let's just say he's a Native American wannabe. Okay, so he goes by Lizard Man. He reached out to me years ago, introduced me to Kathy Clemens. We're all very good friends now, who introduced me to Ruth Ann Logan. And guess what? They introduced me to a woman named Ohidika Sierra from South Dakota who actually came here to be live in our studio. They brought me the documentary The Doctrine of Discovery. When I read that, I cried for days. I had no idea, just like most of us, and I wrote this poem. So guys, hear and listen to every single word. It's a few minutes long, okay? I titled it Sacred Pipe. There's so much to say, where do I start? I just never knew we played such a part. In causing this pain to our very first mate, instead of showing them love, we've exercised hate. We've taken their land, to them it belonged. Corporate America needs to right what's been wronged. We went in their homes and stole all their kids, put a price on their scalp to the highest of bids. The women were sterile, but not by their choice. We drugged them and finally silenced their voice. The kids were brought out of their homes to a foreign place and lived like drones. Most never saw their families again. They were raped and abused and tortured by men. Their goal, as I know it, is sickening to me. To put an end to our natives, how can this be? I just cannot fathom that this still goes on. Corporate America is Hitler. I thought that was God. Carlisle Industrial Indian School was where these kids were brought. Their hair was cut, their names were changed, they were threatened when they were taught. No longer can you be the native you are, you will be groomed to our liking and left with a scar. This horrible school with this motto they ran, kill the Indian, save the man. Over 500 treaties were meant for their aid. As treaties were broken, more treaties were made. Over 500 treaties were promised to them. In 2016, you would think this would end. Even the term that we always use, we thought it was funny, made us amused. Indian giver is now making sense. I'll tell you the meaning in their defense. Everything we gave them was already theirs. We took it all back and nobody cares. But again, it goes on. As I'm sharing the news, we need to help stop this, or Dakota Pipeline they'll lose. Their water source depends on this. Without this access, their lives are at risk. I never knew Redskins meant what it did. To most Americans, the meaning was hid. It just meant color, we all just thought. Not being scalped, their head was bought. To make matters worse, to break them once more, their burial grounds were ripped up. It ripped at their core. Standing Rock is their land, not ours to steal. Corporate America needs to bow down and to kneel. Even the peace pipe has a real name. The sacred pipe it is called, to make your thoughts tame. This isn't humane, not then and not now. We all need that peace pipe to have a powwow. The honor and pleasure was mine to have met Ohitika, this great woman, 100% Native American descent. This insight I was given, these people just don't know. It's affected me so much, corporate America is now my foe. The Doctrine of Discovery is a movie loaned to me. Unmasking Domination Code is one we all must see. Let's stop and think what we were taught, lied to from our government about why wars were fought. Growing up in a Catholic school, it made me feel so wrong. Even as a child, my intuition was so strong. How can God be part of this man-made crap they tell? Instead of living just for Christ, the rise of man now fell. They twisted God's words and told you to kneel, bowing down to just man and kissing his heel. Christopher Columbus is part of the blame. He didn't discover, he stole when he came. He spread Christianity, believe me, not so. He worked for the devil, believe me, I know. He came to the natives whose land he invaded. They welcomed this friend, with his trust he persuaded. They had no clue what was in store. They soon would die, and so much more. I visited the Vatican many years ago. With all the gold it's covered in, this ain't the God I know. The hierarchy of Catholic Church joined forces with our leaders. The country claimed Christianity, but really Satan breeders. The Vatican houses documents still today that they hold true, to dominate and dehumanize. This is not what God would do. They took his word and twisted it to serve their evil needs. They claim that they are holy. They've planted tainted seeds. The government and their church declared war upon these folks. Murdering and starving them was the beginning of this hoax. A non-Christian world they wouldn't have, although Christians they're not. Confirmed to them, or you will die, beheaded, sliced, or shot. invade and capture and subdue all pagans that they found. They're now our slaves for our gain. Their lives to us are bound. All their possessions are ours. Their kids we have taken. The independent existence has now been forsaken. The 15th century Pope Alexander VI was he. Let's spread the gospel by means of war. What a great idea this will be. The Domo effect was also in play, forcing submission and told what to say. Columbus believed that he had this right to discover and dominate all land in his sight. The worst part about this holy scripture he used, Genesis 1:28, is the verse he abused. To dominate all creatures that creep along the earth, considering them animals, they are humans from God at birth. The massacre at Wounded Knee, 425 people died that day, slamming babies on rocks while laughing and singing hooray. Then they hung bodies waiting to burn in group of 13 alive and waiting their turn. 13 men signified Jesus and his men killing in God's name. This soon became a trend. The 1950s still upheld what the Catholic Church has started. Indian versus U.S. Supreme still totally disregarded. The papal bills, as noted today, were written by popes because they had the say. 1992 was not so long ago. In court, we tried to revoke them, and once again, the court said no. Nullus is another term I think that you should hear. It deems the natus null and void, non-existent far and near. Christian civilization is a term I never knew, forcing you to now succumb. If not, we are killing you. Let's get this straight. Let's make this clear. If you don't become civil, we'll hang you and cheer. 20 medals of honor to the soldiers were given for the people they tortured. They should now be rescinded. God says he's fair. In his judgment you earn. The Catholic Church and the government in hell they will burn. That's for you and your people, DeeDee.
Wow.
So I know you're probably filled with emotion right now. So do you want me to play the song that got you your golden buzzer and then we'll continue?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The song,
Go ahead.
the song that I decided to play on Canada's Got Talent is actually, it's more than just a song. It's actually the story of what happened to our people in residential school. And what you said in the poem, we got our hair cut, we got our skin scrubbed. That all happened. And Buried Truth is the song. And it does express the real life experiences that my great grandmother experienced in residential school.
When did you write the song?
I wrote the song, I think I released it in 2021, so
Okay.
4 years ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. So everybody get out the tissues. Okay, producer, here we go.
They scrubbed our skin with a wire brush. They broke the boundaries of all trust. Forget the language our parents taught us. 'Cause when they're done, you won't recognize yourself. They cut our hair, they scarred our skin. They tried to break the child within. They cut our hair, they scarred our skin. Our hearts, they ached with pain so hard to bear, as we longed for our parents' love and care. No love was shown, no kindness there, only unearned shame and great tears of fear. Way highway, hey highway, hey ah, hey oh. Way highway, hey highway, hey ah, hey oh. Hardwood floors laid throughout this place. The workers here, oh, what a disgrace. They were attempting to wipe our home They scarred our skin. They tried to break the child within. Yeah, they cut our hair. They scarred our skin. Yeah. Our hearts, they ached with pain so hard to bear as we longed for our parents' loving care. Love was shown, no kindness there, only unearned shame and great tears of fear. Only unearned shame and great tears of fear. An open grave reveals a hidden past. Buried truth revealed at last.
Wow. So talk a little bit more about this song and the background of it as far as did you know your grandmother?
I did, yeah. So I met my grandmother when I was 2 years old, I want to say, and within that same year, she passed away. But actually, whenever all of the unmarked graves and everything was going on in our world, I was like, oh my goodness, like I have to raise awareness about this. And whenever I first, like before Buried Truth was even Buried Truth, I wanted it to be a song honoring murdered and missing Indigenous women. But then I got this sign and I got guided by the creator to create this song honoring all the victims and survivors of residential school because what our government did, it's very, very horrid, and
Hmm.
it's it's so like gross to even comprehend
Yeah.
how they did that to our people, real people. And so whenever I wrote Buried Truth, I went into the studio and I was like, look, how can I make this the most hard hitting song that I can make this? And I didn't want to beat around the bush. I wanted to be very blunt and straight to the point and say, look, here's what you did to our people. Every word in that song is true, not only to my grandmother and to my family and what we were put through, but to everyone who was put through residential school. And this song is one of my bigger songs. It's probably one of the songs that I'm most well known for. I also created a music video on YouTube. There's a music video available on YouTube where I actually took the initiative to engulf a Steinway and Sons square grand piano into flames to represent not only the powerfulness of this song, but the anger that us Indigenous people feel and First Nations people feel, even when we hear the word residential. I remember my grandmother was so traumatized from residential school that even if you try and bring it up, she'd start rocking back and forth from trauma. And it's just not fair what our people were put through. We're moving on as a community, but what happened doesn't go unnoticed, and it's a part of Canada's darkest piece of its history, really. So I wanted to raise awareness. I'm very angry, but I have so much pride being able to take this song to stages right across the nation. And yeah, I'm very, very honored to have wrote this song. It's sentimental to me. It's tattooed right on my body. I have merch even with Buried Truth on it. It's my story. It's my family story. It's my grandmother's story, but it's also our people's story. And we can't stay silent. Our voices get silenced every day, and I'm trying to break that cycle, and I'm trying to raise awareness.
Was she your dad or your mom's mom?
This would have been my mom's grandmother, so my great grandmother.
Okay, your great grandmother. Okay.
Yeah.
So so your grandmother, let's talk about your grandmother. Did you hear a lot about all this from your grandmother?
No, I didn't, honestly, because my great grandmother didn't have the courage to speak up about her experiences. It was so traumatizing to her that her voice was silenced.
This is heartbreaking. It's almost unbelievable that this
Yeah.
could have even happened,
Yeah.
you know? Um,
Yeah.
wow. So you grew up in Canada?
I did. Yes.
Okay, and you're still there.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Um, so all right. w- Let's play the second song because that also has something to do. Not yet, producer. 1 second. With Canada's Got Talent. But I have a question for you. How did it feel getting Howie's golden buzzer?
When Howie stood up, he said, this is not easy what you're doing, and
Yeah.
you need people to support you. And he stood up and he said, I'm here to support you. And when he hit that golden buzzer, it was like my heart stopped, the world crashed and burned around me. And it was like I felt this big wave of emotion and sensations throughout my whole body. And I had a feeling that that was my great grandmother giving me those sensations and those feelings, kind of reassuring me, saying, hey, you did the right thing. You used this platform for the right thing. When Howie gave me the golden buzzer, it was very unexpected. It was a very, very big experience, almost too big to comprehend. And I felt in that moment that my job was done. And when I received that golden buzzer, I was like, you know what? I'm not even going for the $1 million because I used this platform for what it was for. And I was very, very honored, truly humbled, and so, so grateful. And yeah, it's very surreal, honestly.
I was listen. I was crying for you and happy for you, and it was so emotional for me, and I can't even imagine what you and your family went through. Okay, so that's amazing. So we're gonna play this second song, guys, because then she's gonna talk about this too, about the correlation with it. So okay, let's play it.
Breathe out, breathe in, slow down and feel it. Smell the roses. Better now, now you see it's best to cherish the little things. Believe me. Breathe out, breathe in, slow down and feel it. It's not hopeless. Will it be okay? I feel like I'm gonna break all this pressure and weight. Help me carry away, take it day by day. It'll be okay. Let the light guide the way and just go and take me home. Find the sun in the rain, give me shelter from the storm. Breathe, just breathe, breathe, just breathe. Let the light guide the way, give me shelter from the storm. Breathe out, breathe in, slow down and feel it. Smell the roses. Better now, now you see it's best to cherish the little things. Believe me. Let the light guide the way and just go and take me home. Find the sun in the rain, give me shelter from the storm. Breathe, just breathe, breathe, just breathe. Let the light guide the way, give me shelter from the storm.
DeeDee, talk about that song.
When I was 14 years old, I released my first ever single on Spotify. and Apple Music and all of the streaming platforms. Being 13 years old, walking into a recording studio to record a piece of music that I had written from my heart was one of my most special moments that I've ever had. It was one of my most memorable moments, and it was so like it was such a big experience, but it was also just like one of my highest highs in my career because I got an opportunity to go into a recording studio. However, very quickly, it actually became my lowest low. I would go to school every day and I would have these kids and they'd have a big Bluetooth speaker on their back and they'd be pumping my first ever single. And no, they didn't like the song. No, they weren't supporting me. No, they didn't like my music. And no, they weren't trying to get more people to listen to it. They hated it. They were jealous and they tried to break me down. And they made me feel worthless. They made me feel unvalued. They made me question myself. They made me ask questions to myself that I've never asked before, like, who am I? Where do I fit in? What makes me so different from everyone else? And the bullying, the racism, the discrimination overtook me. It took over me, literally. I felt like I lost control of who I was, where I stood, and where I fit in. And it all accumulated, and it felt like a big, big boulder on top of my head that was trying to slowly push me farther and farther into the ground. The bullying that I dealt with was so bad that I had to build up the courage every day just to walk into my high school, my junior high, and my elementary school. And it was very unfair. I was young, I was innocent, and it felt like only the teachers and the administrative teams only saw me and saw the journey that I wanted to go on and the dream that I wanted to conquer. And the only thing that broke that big boulder on top of my head was actually this song, Breathe, um, because I also have a very, very severe anxiety disorder, and music has always been my medicine. Concerts have always been my therapy. And one day I was having a bad day. I sat at the piano and I said, look, sometimes we got to take days, a day at a time, maybe even minute by minute, second by second, just to make it through the day. We're all human. We all have our battles. But, to be accepted from my family, from me wanting to conquer this dream and then going into school and having all these people that felt like they were working against me, it was very difficult. And I felt like I was battling myself. I was battling all these people, but music has always been an outlet for me. And there's a lot of people still to this day that don't look at music as a job, as a dream, and they don't see it as medicine. They just see it as, oh, you're a little singer, like whatever. And it's more than that to me. This is my life. I literally eat, sleep, and breathe music, and it's my favorite thing. It's been the best outlet that I've ever had, and the one thing that broke the boulder and took all that weight off my shoulders and actually made me feel myself again was Breathe.
Oh, okay. I need to breathe now. Wow, I didn't know any of that. Um, all right. So a couple questions. Are your parents both alive?
Yes, they are.
Okay. You have a good relationship?
Yes, we do. They're
Okay.
like we're literally like three peas in a pod.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank God for that. Um, what you've done, you're inspiring so many people that are listening because there are a lot of people that weren't able to come out of what you were able to come out of.
Mhm.
I have someone messaging me that she's watching it, Ina Vasquez, and her husband is a singer. They're a lot older than you. They're close to my age. So, a lot of young people can't come out of a lot of
Mhm.
that the way you have. And music is absolutely medicine, especially
Mhm.
through COVID, right? Look what it's done for so many people that were locked in. Music is amazing. And I always say this, if you put like a 6 or 8 month old little baby in a rocker and you play music, they're going to start bouncing, and
Mhm.
a little bouncy.
Absolutely.
They bounce because it's innate in us. We all need music. Okay,
Yeah.
it is medicine, it is healing, it is amazing. It saves lives. It saved yours.
Mhm.
And you're not just this incredible great singer. You have such a story, and I am here to tell you that you are going to be helping so many people, DeeDee. God is really using you, girl.
Wow. Thank you,
It's the
Lawless.
truth. It's the truth. I have a question. So people that are listening that may be going through what you went through, and people who are still struggling with depression and bullying, um, can you like give them a little bit of advice how to like overcome it other than your music?
Yeah, absolutely. So before music and before all of that, and there's a song that we might be able to play later on in the show, but journaling is a big thing.
There you go.
Journaling, turning to your people, the people that you have, your family, your friends. You don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You can share the weight with everyone. And that's what I did. I turn to my parents all the time and I'm like, look, I feel like this. What can I do to, get this weight off my shoulders? I've written all of my, negative thoughts, negative feelings onto a plate. I went outside and I've smashed the plate. I've stuffed a bottle with a bunch of papers with all of my negative feelings and I've smashed the bottle. I've done a bunch of things. But mainly, you got to recognize that you're not the only one. You might feel like you're alone. You might feel like you're down and out and there's no hope for you, but there is. And I have faith in everybody in this world that we can get better and we can live in a stable future and a welcoming and accepting future because, we're all that we have. And without us, the world would be pretty boring. Depression is Satan. That's just it. All these negative feelings, that's Satan. You have to turn to your resources that you have, the tools that you have. Journaling has been a big part of my life. I journal every day, whether it's a good day, bad day, whether I'm having an okay day, whether I don't even feel like journaling, I still journal because it's not good to keep everything bottled up. The more and more that you bottle everything up, you're going to feel like a Coke bottle with a Mento in it with the top on, and you're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until you explode. And you don't want that. Anyone who is struggling with depression, anyone who's struggling with anxiety, just mental health in general, Breathe is actually a great song for you to listen to. I tell everyone at my shows that this is a song not only about my experiences and helping me get out of my experiences, but I wrote that song in a universal way that when people listen to it, they can take this and be like, okay, yeah, like it's okay. Like I'm okay. Like I can take a breath right now and I can just be present in the moment, live minute by minute, second by second, hour by hour, day by day. You don't have to wake up one day and be like, oh, I have to do this tomorrow and I'm really dreading it. Live for the day. And you can also what you can do is you can like exercise, eat healthy food. You can put on your comfort show. There's so many different things that you can do to help you just be comfortable in yourself. I know a lot of people don't have the music outlet, and that's okay. But there's so many different outlets. Like even sitting in the sun for 20 minutes, if you're having a bad day, that can boost your mood. There's a bunch of things. Hang out with your friends, hang out with the people that you love, confide in them because they're there for you, even though it doesn't feel like it. But mainly just acknowledging how you feel. Because I feel like a lot of people, when they have so much bottled up, they focus on what's bottled up instead of just being present with themselves in the moment. And I feel like that's super important too. It's just being there for yourself, believing in yourself and telling yourself, reminding yourself that it's okay not to be okay sometimes. We're all human, when a surgeon cuts us open, we're all pink on the inside. We all come in the earth one way and we all go out one way. And it's the exact same way. But one thing too is we're all experiencing life at the exact same time. So go easy on yourself, cut yourself some slack, and just remind yourself that you are okay and you belong and you are worthy and you are valued and you do fit in and you are put on this earth for a reason.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. Wow. Okay, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, so producer, let's play our third song and we'll have you talk about the song. Here we go.
You got it bad. I'm sorry, baby. You had your chance, can't take it back. This red, red heart is kettle black. I'm over that, and I move on to someone I can trust, someone I can hold on to, someone that can love all the things you couldn't do. You made your bed, you're sleeping it too, sleeping it too. I found somebody new. I found somebody new. I found somebody new. Thought you broke my heart into tiny pieces. Now that I'm moving on, you just can't believe it. Call me crazy, won't call you at all. I ain't your baby, cause I'm all into someone I can trust, someone I can hold on to, someone that can love all the things you couldn't do. You made your bed, you're sleeping it too, sleeping it too. I found somebody new. 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 I found somebody new.
Okay, so now DeeDee, talk about this song.
So I'm super excited about this song.
It's an
So
exciting
this song,
song.
I think it's pretty fun.
Yes.
This song is called Somebody New. It's actually my newest release. I've been in album mode for these last few months, just trying to get another album out. I've released 2 EPs so far. I'm getting ready to release another record. Super stoked. Stay tuned. But this song is also available on Indigenous Music Countdown right now. It is sitting on the Indigenous Music Countdown charts. This is my 3rd song, and that's also ran by SiriusXM. So you can vote for that right now. Help me get it to number 1. www.indigenousmusiccountdown.com. You can vote right now. That song is also available on all streaming platforms, and that song is one of the releases off of what's going to be my newest upcoming record. So stay tuned for that. Go to my website, www.DeeDeeAustin.com, and you can also find it on all streaming platforms. That's Apple Music, Deezer, Spotify, iTunes, whatever you listen to music on, it is available. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wait, no. You gotta message me that link. I'm gonna send it to everybody.
Okay.
Okay, you
I
have
will.
to. How long do we have to vote?
You can vote today.
Yep.
It's still on the charts right now, and it's 1 vote per email, and you can create emails as you go, and you can vote multiple times.
All right, send it to me, please.
I will.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, all my buddies will do this.
Amazing.
This is so cool. Wow, okay, very cool. So now I have a question before we play our 4th song. We're going to get to play all 5. So I have a question
Yay!
before we play our 4th song. Growing up, like, who were some of your musical influences?
Oh my gosh. The first song that I ever learned to sing was actually Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I actually always loved the pop music world. So I listened to like a lot of Justin Bieber. I'm super obsessed with Pink. Like
Oh,
literally
okay.
so obsessed that I watched Pink's music, like her live performance videos, and I study her right down to how far away she holds the microphone away from her mouth. I love Pink so much. I love Justin Bieber. Those are like mainly like, I don't know, like my top 2 or 3 really. I don't really know. But I've always been in like the pop. I've always wanted to be a pop star. I don't know why. But I try and write my pop music in a way that there's a story behind every one of them. But then I also write them in a universal way so that everyone can kind of shape shift the song and put it into whatever aspect of life they feel they need it. So yeah.
So I'm 64. I'm telling you that for a reason. So I was born in 61. So I should not love all the old music I love. I'm an oldies Elvis doo-wop girl. Elvis is my boy, okay?
Mhm.
But I love who you mentioned. I love rock, I love contemporary, I love it all. You know what I mean? You can't take
Yep.
that out of me. What I grew up with in the 70s and 80s and 90s, you can't. But
Yep.
I have a question for you. Johnny
Okay.
Cash?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So your parents? I mean, how did you even know about him?
Well, my parents listened to them a lot, and my dad's biological parents listened to them a lot. And I
Okay.
would go to the cottage in Amherst, Nova Scotia, which is in Canada.
Okay.
And I used to ride-on lawnmower with my grampy, and we used to sing Folsom Prison Blues together. It was like our song. And then from there, I tried to learn guitar. I wasn't great at it. Like literally, I can't play it. Like today, I cannot play the guitar. I had a little pink guitar, and I used to basically pretend that I could play it. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Like my parents. I also love April Wine. And in August of 2022, I actually had the opportunity to open up for April Wine, which is super crazy. It was like a full circle moment. But yeah, it's mainly just like the music that I was surrounded with, like growing up, like my parents, like the music that they would, rock out to in the car when we were on the way to like get a, I don't know, McHappy Meal or whatever at McDonald's. Like it's just those influences. And I was like, oh, like I like these artists. Like I like this type of music, but I want to make my own music.
Yes.
And I want to be like these. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like an influence.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, an
amazing.
inspiration.
Absolutely amazing. All right, producer, how many we have left? 2. So let's play our fourth one, and then we'll have you talk about this one.
Perfect.
Hurting, I don't know how to feel. Beneath the surface, I can't tell what's real. My mind is racing, all these perfect faces, always going places free. I'm tired of watching all the fame and gossip, all you chase is make believe. Tell yourself that all I have is all that I'll ever need. Don't let what you see define who you could be. Hesitation, I'm waiting to fade. I wanna face it and not run away. I tell myself that all I have is all that I'll ever need. Yeah, hurting, I don't know how to heal. I'm insecure and I don't know what's real. My mind is racing, all these perfect faces, always going places free. I'm tired of watching all the fame and gossip, all you chase is make believe. Tell yourself that all I have is all that I'll ever need. Don't let what you see define who you could be. Hesitation, I'm waiting to fade. I wanna face it and not run away. I tell myself that all I have is all that I'll ever need. Yeah,
DeeDee, that song is beautiful. Talk about it.
That song was called All I Have Is All I Need off my last record, Stay Dancin'. And what inspired me to write that song was actually the way that my parents raised myself and my siblings. So when we were growing up, my mom always told us, if you have clothes on your body, food on the table, and a roof over your head, you're rich in life. And that really stuck with me because I've always, like, growing up, I was, like into social media, and I looked on social media all the time, and I saw all these, beautiful, prim and proper girls, or these super, super handsome, prim and proper guys. And it's just like, and I've always told my mom and my parents, like, oh, like, I want to be, I don't know, pink, or I want to be like, I want to have the same body as this girl. Like, I wish my body looked like this. And my parents were always like, look, like, you're human, and you got to be grateful for what you have, and you were born with the body that you have for a reason, and you were born with the things that you have for a reason. And it really, really stuck with me and my siblings too. And like, even if I'd ask my parents, I'd be like, oh, like, when I was like super young, I'd be like, oh, like, why didn't you get me this? And then my parents would be like, oh, well, can't you just be like grateful for what you have already? And I was like, you know what? Like, that's so true. Like, you don't have to have everything under the sun in order to be happy. And there's no monetary value like that comes close to anything when it comes to, having clothes on your body,
Yep.
a food on the table, and a roof over your head. There's nothing that even comes close to a monetary value when it comes to that. Rich, the word rich, it's it's more than just money. Rich is, I have a beautiful family. I have 4 beautiful siblings. I have 2 nieces and 2 goddaughters. I am rich in life. I've created a band. I've created a career for myself. And there's so many things. Like, you are a host on a radio show. Like, even you are rich in life. You get what I'm saying? So
Yes.
sometimes we just have to slow down and, cherish the things that we already have, and, acknowledge, like, hey, I have a pillow to rest my head on every night. In Canada, and I'm sure in the US too, I'm sure there's a bunch of people, battling with housing crises right now. And it's just like, there actually in Canada, we just got built our first ever tiny home village for the homeless. And it's
Oh.
just like, yeah, and it's just like, now they're rich in life because they have a bed to sleep in. They have a place to eat food, they have a place to create a life now. And it's just like, you know, and that song can be, shape shifted into however, whatever aspect of life you feel you need it. But for me, when it comes to my family and my siblings, and, having food on the table and a roof over our head and clothes on our body, to me, that's all I have right now is all that I need. And I'm super happy with where I'm at in that aspect of my life.
So, not only are you an incredible singer and songwriter, you could write a book. Okay, the way you articulate, it's amazing to me.
Wow, thank you.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I mean, you're amazing how how you get your point across in such a beautiful way. So, okay,
Thank
tell
you.
us about, so you have 4 siblings,
I do, yeah.
and what are the age differences?
Okay, so I have a 29-year-old sister, and then I'm 19, and then I have a 15-year-old sister, a 14-year-old sister, and a 13-year-old sister.
So they went really quick in the beginning and then they slowed down and took some breaks.
Yeah.
That's great. I have a
Yeah.
24-year-old grandson and I have a 10-year-old granddaughter, brother and sister. So my daughter,
Aw,
yeah. So now you have a band.
I do, yeah.
Tell us about your band.
Okay, so I play with a 5-piece band. It consists of a drum kit, electric guitar, I have keyboards, I have synths, I have a saxophone, and I have a bass player, and my bass player also sings backup vocals, and I'm the lead singer. But to be completely honest, I don't even like saying that I'm the lead singer, because honestly, without my band, there wouldn't be me. We're a team, we're a family. We live together on the road, and I've just built this such a special connection with my band that it's like people will point out, like, oh, you're the lead person of your band, and it's like, no, like, we are a band, we are a community, we are, we feed off of each other.
Yeah.
So I have a band, a 5-piece band. My configuration changes depending on where I go. Like, if I was to go to the States, I might bring my trio or my duo. It all depends, but I do have a band. I'm very, very lucky. I'm very, very blessed. And it took me a while. But when I first started my career, I was very, very honored because I was actually accepted right away into a circle of like the most high professional musicians in Canada. and it was very special to me. And I honestly don't know where I'd be if I wasn't. So I want to shout out my band.
Come on, let's hear the names. You could give all the names.
Okay, perfect. So we have Jack Phillips on electric guitar. We have Sirkan Sawar, who's been playing with me since my first ever show in 2021 on drums. We have Josh Robinson on keyboard, synths, and saxophone. We have Rachel Henderson on bass and background vocals. And then there's me, and I'm DeeDee Austin, and I'm 19 years old, multi-award winning from the Abaquit First Nation on PEI.
There you go. I love this. This is so cool. Oh my gosh. All right. So I'm not musically inclined at all. Okay. I can only tell you if you're good, really good, or terrible. All right. That's it. That's what I can do. I can't say, like, oh yeah, they messed up that beat or this or they were off. I can't really do that. Okay. If it's terrible, yes. But I love it. It's so cool. I can't
But
even
you are
imagine playing an instrument. I'm like, how do they do that? So you don't play any instruments then?
I actually do. My primary instrument is the keyboard.
Oh, okay. So how
Yeah,
long have you been playing that?
I've been playing it. So actually, here's a little story for you.
Yes.
I got interested in piano. I grew up in the church community. There was this organist at my church, and she used to teach me little things on the piano every Sunday. That was like my highlight of going to church, was just sitting with my organist at the piano. And then when she passed away, I was like, you know what, in honor of her, I want to, carry this instrument and, pursue this instrument. So I pursued the instrument. At about 7 years old, I tried to take piano lessons. And I don't read music, okay? For you to put sheet music in front of my face, it's like reading gibberish.
I love that.
And I've always believed in just feeling the music and just letting the music come through you. And so anyways, when I went to piano lessons when I was 7 years old, I had this instructor. She went behind my back, and she actually used to send me home with papers and papers and papers of sheet music. And I'd sit there at the piano, literally in a huff and puff, and I'd tell my parents, like, I just don't grasp this. I can't do this. And if I keep doing this and keep trying to do this, then it's just going to push me away from this instrument, sort of thing. So anyways, my instructor went behind my back to my parents, and she said, look, your daughter is unteachable. If she can't read music, then she's not going to make it in the industry. And if she's not going to make it in the industry, then she should find something to do. So do you want to know something really funny now? Pretty much everybody in my band doesn't read sheet music.
I love that.
Right?
I love that.
So whenever I was told that she couldn't teach me and that she just couldn't wrap her head around how I played piano, she was like, look, I quit. I was like, if you're going to not take the time, to acknowledge how I want to play piano, and you're going to try and teach me how you play piano, I don't want to do this. So that day, I went home after I quit music lessons. My parents said, are you sure you want to quit? And I was like, yes, I'm going to prove this girl wrong.
Yay.
Okay, because I can do this. So I went home. I had like a super busted up iPad, like that hardly even works. I downloaded a bunch of piano apps on it. I went on YouTube, and I taught myself how to play piano. That's literally the story. Like, I literally spent hours and hours and hours at the piano just trying to teach myself, trying to prove this girl wrong. Like, hey, look, you don't have to read music in order to make it in the industry.
Right.
Feel the music and let the music come to you, and you'll be fine. And that's what I did. And now I'm 19 years old, playing piano, learning new things on the piano every day. And I wouldn't have it under any other way, truly.
So I have a question. Does she know about you now?
I'm not sure.
Well, we have to make sure she does.
Right? Out of respect, I don't, put her name on blast. I don't tell anyone her name.
But listen, if you text me her name, I'll make sure she sees this video and your video from Canada's Got Talent. We have to let her see it, okay?
Okay.
I will be.
Okay.
I won't even. I'm a very good person. I would never. But I want her to see you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, girl. So you got to send me
All
her
right.
name, and you got to send me the link to vote. Yes.
Okay.
So now we're gonna play the 5th song, and we're gonna have you talk about it.
Okay.
Here we go.
Don't live a lie. Don't hold it in. It's just me and you. Why don't do this? Just remember, you can trust me.
Beautiful. Tell us about this song.
So that song was called Don't Live a Lie, and that song was actually, you could probably tell from how young my voice sounds, that was off my first ever EP that I released back in 2021 called Stepping Stones. I wrote that song when I was 11 years old, and that was one of my first songs that I have actually written, and it's about mental health and addiction. Intergenerational trauma is a major, major thing that stems from residential school. And I'm not gonna like say any names or out anybody in my family, but addiction runs really, really, really heavy through my family. And I was going through a really, really hard time when I was 11. You know, I was a really smart kid. I was super sharp. I knew what was going on, and I was like, look, I need an outlet. Like I can't cope with this without, you know, putting how I feel into song. So I wrote a song about it called Don't Live a Lie. You just heard it. And you know, that song is just honestly me coping with how I navigated through, you know, watching some family members struggle with addiction. They still struggle with addiction to this day. You know, addiction and alcoholism is really heavy through, you know, the Indigenous and First Nations communities, all because of intergenerational trauma. It's really sad, and it's, you know, it's a disease. And Don't Live a Lie really just goes out to anyone who is struggling with mental health or addiction, anyone who knows anybody who struggles with mental health or addiction. I wrote that song because I know that addiction is so heavy in so many other people's families and people's lives too. And that song, it was literally just a way of like me reminding myself that like I'm not alone and my family is not the only family, even though it feels that way. And yeah, like Don't Live a Lie is super sentimental. It's probably one of my favorite songs on my first EP. And my first EP is also called Stepping Stones. If anyone is interested, I actually decided to take all the songs that I wrote from when I was 11 to 15. And I said, look, these are the stepping stones to me, like starting to write music and starting to, you know, pursue this dream. So I decided to jam them all into an album. But Don't Live a Lie just goes out to anyone who is struggling with mental health or addiction, or anyone who knows of somebody who is, you know, addiction and mental health is real, and it's okay not to be okay. But you know, it's also just, it's a disease, and addiction and mental health, you know, doesn't define the person, because it is a disease and it's a sickness, and you know, people with addiction and mental health also need people to confide in. So it's kind of just a reminder.
Wow. I'm going to read another poem. I wasn't going to do this, but with everything that you just said, it's a very small poem. It's in my book, and it's called Put Down the Gun. And the gun can be anything you're choosing to end your life with. Okay? So, guys, if you're struggling right now with suicidal thoughts, if you're struggling right now with addiction, mental illness, and you're feeling like there's no way out, I'm telling you there is. I'm going to find this poem. I'm going to read it for you.
And you're an author, and you say that I could write a book, so maybe you could help me write a book.
Okay, I would love to. Okay? And I'll share something silly about how I wrote my book, girl. Okay, you'll laugh when I tell you that. But I want to find this book. Okay, here it is. It's very short. Guys, put down the gun. And again, it could be anything you're choosing to end your life with. Please don't. I had to have this purple gun just in case my life was done. I kept it safe locked in my room because I was filled with gloom and doom. Yes, there were times that I just knew if I loaded it up what I could do. But I kept on hearing that gentle voice. put down that gun. You have that choice. Life may seem hard at the end of the day, but that's when you need to really pray. Dear Father, I beg you to show me the truth. How can life be so bad when I'm only a youth? Get rid of that gun and go take a shower. Ask someone for help. You do have that power.
Beautiful.
So if anybody is struggling, please ask someone for help. Please. Okay?
Yeah.
So, wow. All right, so DeeDee, I'm giving you the mic back because I don't want you to get off thinking, oh, I wanted to talk about this. We have plenty of time. I don't want you to get off and forget to share whatever things you might wanted to have shared. Okay, so the mic is yours, sweetheart. Take it.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on the show. It's truly an honor. And I know you said you were honored to talk to me, but I'm truly honored to talk to you.
Oh.
Anyone who is just discovering me, all of my music is available on all streaming platforms. Follow my website, DeeDeeAustin.com. Follow my social medias, DeeDee Austin Music, right across all social media platforms. Stay up to date with me, you know, stay in the loop. I would love to have you guys on my journey. I'm in album mode right now. I'm starting to tease some of my newest upcoming songs on my social media, so check those out. If you check out my website, DeeDeeAustin.com, you can sign up for my mailing list, and you can get first access to any tickets, show dates, announcements, literally everything. On Instagram, you can join my broadcast channel, and on Facebook, you can join my community. I would love to have you guys on my journey. You know, you guys are so in the loop with Geri, and I'm so thankful for all of you guys who have supported Geri on her, journey. I absolutely love this woman now, and I'm just like so
I
honored.
love you too.
I'm just so honored to have had this conversation. You know, I've shared a lot with you that I haven't really had the courage to talk about lately. So I appreciate you providing me that comfort space to, talk about these things because, mental health is very important. Anyone on here who is struggling, like Geri said, reach out for help. It may be hard. You may not know where to start, but there are resources out there, and the resources are there for a reason. So utilize those. I really, really hope that if you liked what you heard today, follow along my journey, listen to my music, stay up to date. You can take my music and put it into whatever aspect of life you feel you need it. Stay up to date with shows. New merch is coming out soon. There's lots of new things happening. Thank you to everyone who watched my Golden Buzzer video on YouTube. That was a really, really surreal moment for me. But, it's interviews like this and conversations like this that need to be had. But these conversations also make it worth, everything that I do. There's no monetary value that could even come close to how much this means to me. So I just want to say thank you so much, deeply from my heart, and I hope we can chat again soon.
Well, we're not done. I have a couple more questions for you.
Okay, perfect.
I just have to. All right. So first off, you don't have to. I know you won't know exactly, or you might. I don't know. But about how many songs have you already written?
Okay, so I've written. I want to say maybe I want to say maybe 25.
Okay.
Yep. I've released 2 EPs with 6 tracks on both already. And I have an 8-track EP coming out for my third one. I decided to add 2 more because I'm just having so much fun with this whole creation process. And I want to give you guys more. So I'm going to release an 8-track. But then I also have so many, oh my gosh, I have so many songs that aren't recorded and released too.
Oh.
Like I probably have 45 songs that are just sitting in a notebook that I haven't done anything with yet. And I do plan on doing something with them. So stay tuned, but one day at a time. I'm trying to complete this album and get this album finished, mastered, mixed, and released for you guys so that you guys can have more music to jam to right now. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, so now I have a question about the Indigenous people today. Bring us up to date with, how can I even ask this question? All right, have things changed for the better? Are your people treated better? What's changed and what hasn't changed?
Right off the hop, the racism the discrimination, the bullying, it is still really, really bad.
Oh my gosh.
We recently moved to a different part of Canada, and my siblings, they are still in school, you know, they're grade 7, 8, 9. And the first week of school, my grade 9 sister actually had a group of girls attack her in the hallway,
What?
grabbed her by the head of her hair. Yeah. So the racism, the discrimination, bullying is not getting better, especially in the school system. I just went on a 4-week tour across Atlantic Canada trying to spread the message of anti-bullying, discrimination, racism, homophobia, literally everything. And, you know, I was told that, you know, these presentations were going to help make a change. However, they're still going through the cycle, and it's really unfortunate. Um, when it comes to reconciliation and coming together and acknowledging what our government has done to our people, um, it's getting better. I do want to say that we're coming together. You know, we have well, this is Indigenous History Month, June.
Oh,
Indigenous Peoples
yes.
Day. Yes, so Indigenous Peoples Day is on the 21st. You know, but it's also just like, I feel like there's more people doing research now because there's more awareness being raised each day that we live. So that's super nice. But, you know, honestly, so many voices, you know, so many of my people's voices have been silenced that I'm trying to inspire all of us to just come out of our shell and raise our voices and say, hey, look, you did this to us. And now you have to take accountability for your actions. You know, what happened to us is never going to go away. You know, the trauma is there, unfortunately, but we have a future that we are looking into. So it's just like, you know, how can we come together as a community, you know, with peace, equality, friendship at the forefront to, you know, create a future that is all like worth living in. And I feel that, you know, me, myself, and all these other Indigenous artists that are raising awareness, I feel like with the help of our music and with the help of our voices and our stories, and, you know, taking the time to, you know, kind of magnify what happened to us, I feel like it'll help people be more aware, and it'll be like an eye opener and say, hey, look, like, these people were actually put through a lot. And I'm not shaming any other culture because I know a lot of cultures have been through a lot. But I know for sure that, you know, Indigenous people were put through probably the most grossest experiences. Like, my grandmother was soaked in a scalding hot water bath.
Can't even
And she
imagine.
was, and there was, yeah. And, you know, the nuns at the residential school, they poured powdered bleach on her skin and scrubbed her skin
Yeah.
with a wire brush, trying
Yeah.
to assimilate her culture.
Yeah.
You know, if she spoke her language, even Mi'kmaq, like, I'm the only one in my family who is trying to learn the language right now, and I'm taking my teachings and I'm trying to teach my family, because I'm like, look, like, we have a broken language. There's so many broken things within our culture, and it's now our job, you know, as the younger generation, to, you know, raise awareness and use our voices to come together so that we can be like, hey, look, we are your future. So how are you going to treat us, sort of thing. So yeah, when it comes to, you know, reconciliation and all of that, you know, it's sharing the stories, it's sharing the experiences, it's talking about what happened that'll get us closer to a better future. Do not silence your voice.
No.
Don't let anyone silence your voice. Stand strong, stand tall, and own who you are. At the end of the day, you know who you are, stand on it. Because I'm telling you right now, we have so much potential in our upcoming future. And if we stay in the past, we're never gonna get to a future, and we need to, because it's important. And, you know, it's like, well, here's a question for all the adults, everybody. Do you want the next generations that are growing up to go through what we went through?
Nope.
Exactly.
Nope.
So we have to come together, and we have to share our teachings and our knowledge, and we have to utilize the resources and tools that we have to raise awareness about this, so that we can live in a future that is, you know, that has peace, equality, and friendship and acceptance at the forefront.
You know, I took that DNA thing, you know, actually got it as a gift, you know, My mom in the summertime, she would be as dark as an African American person. So we always believed we had African American in our family. So when I took it, I said, okay, I'm probably going to have African American in my family, and I'm sure hoping I have Native American in my family, and neither. Okay? I was actually sad. So, growing up, for me, I grew up in Long Island City, New York, which was Queens, okay? We moved to New Jersey when I was 12 years old. So my dad moved us here to be with his brother who met a Jersey girl in the Marines. Okay. When I grew up in New York, we did not have racism. We loved, I'm going to say, Indian people. Okay? We loved Native Americans. We loved all that. I loved black people. We didn't even know that there was any of that going on. My dad welcomed everyone into our home for Sunday dinner. We lived on a block with all different, it was amazing. I moved to freaking New Jersey, and that's like my first taste of this BS crap. Okay? I'll share a story with you real quick. I went down south to Memphis because of my Elvis thing, and I've been there several times, but it might have been 10 years ago, and I brought a friend of mine from Australia because he's a little disabled, physically, not mentally. He's a degenerate gambler. He's one of my buddies, Limpy. He limps. So we brought him here to the U.S., and he was an Elvis fan, so we went to Memphis. So we get a cab, and it was a black gentleman cab driver. So we get in, and I give Limpy the front seat because of his injury, and I sit in the back, and I scooch to the middle of the cab, and I'm talking to both of them. And the cab driver says to me, "It's okay, ma'am, I know my place." I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "Pull over." He goes, "You want me to pull over?" I said, "Pull over." He thought that I was going to get out. So he pulls over, I get out, and I tap his window, and I said, "Please get out, sir." He goes, "You want me to get out?" I said, "Please get out, sir." And my friend Limpy's going, "Oh, here she goes." He gets out, and I said, "Please hug me." He said, "You want me to hug you?" I said, "Absolutely. Not only do I want a hug from you, never, never know your place." I was so upset about that. They're still being treated like that down south. This is so horrible. So, listen, I'm not God, and I don't know if things are ever going to completely change for anyone who's dealing with this craziness. My prayers are always out there, but what you're doing to show awareness is incredible. You are amazing, and you got to get a book written. And I actually hand wrote my book, and then I laughed and said, "I don't know what to do with it now." So a friend of mine came over and got it on, in the computer, blah, 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 blah. But listen, you have to tell your story. And, you could put your songs in your book. I mean, this is amazing. So I want you to say hello to your parents and your siblings for me. I am so honored that you honored me on the Geri Petito Show and here at Hamilton Radio. My producers are back there smiling at you. You're amazing, absolutely amazing. And I am so thankful and grateful that Howie Mandel gave you that golden buzzer, girl, on Canada's Got Talent. Okay, you deserved it. And
Thank you.
Your grandmother and great-grandmother are smiling down at you.
Thank you.
So, is there anything else you'd like to close with?
I think that's it pretty much. Just stay tuned for everything upcoming in DeeDee Austin's world. And thank you so much. If there's any listeners here that, have heard of my music, heard of me, and are listening in right now, thank you for being on the journey, and thank you for tuning in, everybody. I really, really greatly appreciate it. I'm so honored and humbled to have had this conversation, and I hope we do it again.
Listen, my door is not only always open for you. If you have any friends that want to get their story out, please let them reach out to me, okay?
I will, for sure. Thank you so much.
You're amazing. Producer, take us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do.
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true.
Is really true. Is it really true?
Just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound. Safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found. Change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Love's the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.